95% of the decisions that we make on a daily basis are subconscious, which means that if you want to make more sales, you need to understand how to reach people on that subconscious level. Today, we are entering the realm of neuromarketing. So if you want to know why I'm holding this bear, then stick around until the end because I'm going to tell you exactly what neuromarketing is, show you some examples of how it works, show you exactly how to use it, and tell you how to find opportunities. My name is Trent Kennelly. I'm a marketing strategist, and on this channel, I talk about all the things that you can do to improve your business through marketing, sales, and analytics. So if that sounds good to you and you're excited, make sure that you like this video, comment, and let me know which neuromarketing technique you think you've been taken by, and I guarantee you it's probably all of them. Subscribe to my channel if you're into it, and then stick around until the end to get a free marketing guide to 2021's marketing trends that you're gonna need to know about. Until then, let's get started. Okay, so what is this? Neuromarketing is the use of psychology in our marketing decision-making processes. The fact is that, as I mentioned, we use our subconscious mind far more than we use our conscious mind, and it affects every single decision that we make. So even the small little things are influencing that decision. What that means is that when you're thinking about your product or your service, it's not just about what you say it does, it's not just about the copy on the page, it's about how people feel about it, based on what you've said, based on what you've shown, based on past experiences that they've had with you or your product or your service. So you have to take all of these things into account and think about every little detail to be able to make those changes and increase those sales as much as possible. So some good examples about how psychology and subconscious mind affects our decision making. The first one is McDonald's, Disney, and Netflix. All three of these go together because they're some of the earliest brands that are recognized by children. The youngest children recognize McDonald's, Disney, and Netflix because they have very positive reactions to them at a very young age. As a result, their interactions with those brands as they grow up tend to be more positive and nostalgic. And so it increases the likelihood that they're going to want to continue to go back to Netflix and Disney and McDonald's, among others. So Coca-Cola might be a great example of a failure in marketing psychology. So in the 80s, they issued New Coke. And before they put New Coke out on the market, they tested with 200,000 different people in focus groups and blind taste tests. And they found that people preferred the taste of New Coke versus Old Coke, and they preferred the taste of New Coke against Pepsi. So they were absolutely sure that New Coke was gonna be the next best thing and was gonna be a huge sales boom on the market. But when they put out New Coke, they also took away Classic Coke. And so what happened? People flipped out. There were protests on the street. People were angry. Sales were tanking. They ended up pulling New Coke out of the market and putting back in Old Coke, or now Classic Coke. So what did they miss? Why was that such a colossal failure? The reason that failed so poorly is because they missed the emotion. They spent the entirety of their existence from the 1800s building on emotion. You want to feel good? Have a Coke. You want to relax? Have a Coke. You want to feel healthy again? Have a Coke. Yes, that's a real ad campaign. So they missed the emotion, which means that when they took away Classic Coke, they took away the heart of the company. They ripped the heart out of people. People were angry because it was like a breakup. So they had to put Classic Coke back in, or they were just going to destroy their entire business. Last big example is Facebook. Facebook is designed to keep you on the site as long as possible because the longer you're on the site, the more ads you see and the more money they make as a result. And they do this in hundreds and thousands of different ways, but here are just a few small examples. So the first one would be infinite scroll. If you've ever tried to scroll your newsfeed all the way to the bottom, you can't get there. It's always going to load something more, and there's always going to be something else to see. So it makes you hungry to keep seeing what's going on and keep moving through that feed. It's the same on Instagram. It's the same on any other platform. Also, the high of getting likes. You get a like, that makes you feel good. You get a lot of likes, that makes you feel really good. So you want to keep posting, keep building that interaction for yourself so that you get more people to come back into your site and get that vanity metric. It doesn't actually matter to make you any money, but at least you can have some vanity associated with it, and it's really strong. And then algorithmically curated content. This is huge. So they're looking at exactly what it is that you're showing interest in, how long you're looking at an image, how long you're reading a post, if you're just scrolling past something. They're taking all of that time and interest, the likes and the comments into account to figure out what it is that you like and you don't like, and showing you more of what you like so that you're gonna wanna come back and stay on as long as possible. All right, so let's talk about some simple ways that you can do this. The first one I want to talk about is decoy pricing. So if you've ever seen pricing like this, where you've got a small for $3, a medium for $6.50, and a large for $7, you might think it's kind of weird that there is a $3.50 difference between the small and the medium, and only a 50-cent difference between the medium and the large. But that's on purpose. The medium is called a decoy, and it's there to make you buy the large, because you're gonna go, I can get a medium for $6.50, but it's only 50 cents more to get that large. And you think you've only spent 50 cents more, but what you've actually done is spent $4 more than the small. So it's an easy way to get you to upgrade a little bit more, and they spend a lot more while you don't have to do as much work to get them there. This is also why you might see on a lot of websites that there are 3 pricing options. Look at those pricing options really closely. You'll probably notice that there's a bigger disparity between the smallest and the medium versus the medium and the large. Color is a great way of affecting this as well. Colors cause emotional reactions. They might be small, but they are there. Blues will cause feelings of trustworthiness, strength, and dependability. Purple might give you the feeling of wisdom or nobility or creativity or knowledge. Colors really matter in the way that you want to portray yourself in your marketing. So if you want somebody to feel confident when they're looking at your website, use more black. If you want them to feel calm or fairly neutral, greens and grays are the better way to go. Another great option is the paradox of choice. The more choices we have, the more anxiety we feel to make that decision, and the less ability we feel to make that decision. Just think of restaurants, okay? So you get Cheesecake Factory, you get a freaking novel to make a decision for what you want to eat. Whereas Chipotle is a simple menu and you get to make a decision very quickly, and it's exactly what you want. Which are you gonna pick? I'm gonna pick Chipotle, and it's not just because I live in Belgium and they don't have Chipotle and I desperately miss Chipotle and it's making me hungry thinking about it. It's also because it's a simple, clean, and easy decision-making process, and people can make that decision very quickly and go on with their day. So simplifying the options that you give to people on your site, maybe through a funnel page that doesn't have any menu options or something, is really gonna help making that decision process and that purchase process much easier and cleaner. Loss aversion, or FOMO. This is a really good option as well, because we don't want to be the only person that misses out. So by adding that emotional trigger in there, by the way, I just did a whole video on all these emotional triggers. You can check them out here. But by adding FOMO in, the fear of missing out on something, you increase the likelihood of somebody buying. It's a little thing, it's a little like fear in our gut, and we want to make an action as a result of it. Another great option is price anchoring. So price anchoring sets an expectation that's really high and then takes that expectation away. So if you've ever been on a sales page where they say, this product or service has so much value, you would expect to pay 10,000 bucks for it or 3,000 bucks for it, but I'm gonna give it to you for 297 bucks. You're gonna jump at that chance. You're gonna go, oh my God, that's so cheap. That's such a good deal for all of this value. You're much more likely to make that purchase. And price anchoring is really effective because it's almost like putting a bunch of weight in your backpack and then taking some of that weight out. You got 100 pounds in your backpack, and then you take 50 pounds out, you're still carrying around 50 pounds, but it feels a lot lighter, right? So that's how price anchoring works. It lightens that load by setting a really heavy load in your mind and then removing it at the end. Last opportunity I want to talk about is eye tracking, and that is why I have this little guy, because we look at things in a certain way. What we read, the size of things, the color of the objects, they all matter. Imagery keeps us engaged. Video pulls us in, even if it's something in the corner of our eye. The strangest thing in the frame will always catch our attention, and that is why I have the bear. So when you're applying this to what you're marketing, think about your website, for instance. The biggest thing is always going to be the most visible. The smallest thing will not be the most visible. Even if you put the smallest text on the top, people are not going to read that first. Their eye will always be attracted to the biggest thing. So whatever you want to say first, make that the biggest font. Make the thing that you need to add as detail the smallest font. It doesn't matter what order it's in, because people will always read from biggest to smallest. So those are some cool ideas. Where do we find those opportunities on our site? I'm going to show you right now. So we're going to use 2 tools. The first one is Google Analytics. The second one is Full Story. So with Google Analytics, you're using your behavior reports and your funnels. Behavior reports are going to tell you exactly where people are dropping off, exactly which pages are causing people to go forward to another page and then back to the page they were just on. Might show some confusion. Anything that indicates abnormal behavior on your behavior report is important to note so that you can go check and see what's going on in just a minute. Then use your funnels to analyze exactly where people are moving, if they're taking the steps you expect them to or not. And if they're not, you can identify those pages as potential for optimization, and then you can go for that, okay? And so then you're gonna go to Full Story, which is kind of like Hotjar. It's one of those video sites that records the actions users are taking on your site. And you can see exactly how they're moving through your site. And you might see that they're being caught up on something or other. So a great example here is, I was watching this for a client the other day, and I noticed that that client didn't have a button on the header section for their homepage. All I did was take that button and move it into the header section, and I doubled the click-through rate on their homepage. That's it, that's all I had to do. So you can find little things that are gonna have huge impacts on your bottom line by doing this. Obviously, there's a lot more to neuromarketing than this, but this should get you started down the path to thinking about those little tweaks that you can make to increase the outcomes on your website. So I hope that you found that really, really helpful, but just keep in mind this is just the surface and there's a lot more to go. So if you found this helpful, please make sure that you like this video, comment and let me know how many of these you got caught up in. I mean, just do a tally, because you got caught in all of them, I guarantee it. These are some of the most popular, and I am absolutely sure that you've been taken by most of them, okay? So just let me know, give me a tally, give me a number. That's all I wanna know. Subscribe to my channel if you are into it. Check out my description for a couple of things. So I've got a free and a paid option for coaching conversations, 90 and 60 minutes, or if you wanna get a guide that's gonna tell you all about the marketing trends that are coming up in 2021, I've got that down there as well. All right, I'll catch you in the next one.